I'm ready. All right, welcome back to another episode of the Erickson Brothers Podcast, where we discuss questions we're still trying to figure out ourselves, and then the possible returns from life's investments, where we're in it together. We don't claim to know anything more or anything less. We're just going through our thoughts and seeing what happens. So, Jeff, how are you doing today?
Good, man. Everything's been going well. How are you? Happy birthday, first of all.
Thank you. Yes, I'm now 24, which is kind of weird. But
you're still so young, bro. 24 is nothing.
I'm here. I'm in my mid-20s. I'm not in my young 20s anymore. I'm in my mid-20s.
Is that like the 23 to 24? Is that the transition age?
I don't know. I don't know. But I feel like 24, like, oh wow, like he's an adult. Because there's 23-year-olds still in college, but unless you got some serious issues, you're not 24 in college.
I know some 24-year-olds that aren't very adult-ish either. So I guess there's a little bit of a mix.
Yes. I think the adultish part is subjective, but yeah. But
cool.
anyway, yeah.
It's been a good day so far, though.
Yeah, it has. You sent me a box of cookies that I'm more than halfway through already, and and yeah, I worked earlier today and it was pretty chill. So here I am.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, let's dive in. Do you have topic number one you want to go over today?
Yes. So my first topic of the day is, well, I was thinking, you did your 75 hard, and it got me thinking about like what I could do in like put my own twist on it. I think that a lot of those things in 75 hard are great. I don't have the I don't have the need to work out twice a day every day for 75 days, though. I think that I would just want to tailor it to something different, but I do like the commitment piece. So I think in conjunction with the pod and the rest of my life, I think what I'm going to start doing is committing to doing a habit for 30 days, just one thing. And after 30 days, I can decide if I want to keep doing it or not. But for those 30 days, I'm going to commit to doing it every day, no matter what, no ifs, ands, or buts. And we'll see where I can take it. So I've been thinking that I can do that. One of them I want to do is wake up every day at 6. Just no changes depending on the day. Just no matter what, I'm gonna wake up at 6 a.m. and I think just go from there. Just one thing at a time that I can commit to and do it. Because I wake up at 6 sometimes, but not every day. And on weekends, I like to sleep in till 8:30 or 9. But I think if I just told myself I'm gonna wake up at 6 every single day, it would make me a lot more productive in those early mornings. But it would probably also change my mindset around the evenings as well in going to bed. So I want to get to bed earlier, but I think the only way I can do that is if I say to myself, wake up 6 a.m. every single day, no matter what. So I think that will be my first 30-day habit that I commit to, and then just do it. So like my birthday is today, so I think like the second full day of me being a 24-year-old, I'm gonna start this habit and just I'll talk about it every week. And then at the end of the 30 days, I'm gonna be like, I'm good, or I'll keep doing it. So there's some other things I'm thinking about too, but for now, I'm just gonna say, wake up at 6 a.m. every day, no matter what. I don't have to go and work out. I don't have to do anything, but the only thing I'm committing to is waking up every day at 6.
And what if you wake up at 6 a.m. and you're tired? Are you going to go back to bed?
I think I'm definitely going to allow myself to take a nap later on in the day, but I think but no, I'm not going to go back to bed. I'm just going to wake up at 6 and go from
like
there.
A nap from like 6:01 to like 7:30.
Maybe like 6:15 to like 8 a.m. So
No, I'm playing. That's good though. I like that.
Yeah, so we're just gonna see how it goes every day, 6 a.m. And I guess April 21st, I'll be able to say, hey, I don't want to do this anymore, or I'll keep doing it, or maybe we'll see. But that's my plan.
Sounds good.
Yeah. What are your thoughts?
I like it. Yeah, definitely making the commitment up front is the most important thing because right, like the feeling that you're in now of like seeing the benefit of it, obviously that's going to go away. And if you make the commitment, you already make the decision now, then come the time to actually wake up, you don't have to worry about making that decision.
Yeah.
Right? Like when the alarm goes off, you don't have to make a decision on if you're going to wake up or not because you've already made that decision. So
yeah,
I like it. And
yeah. And I think that only like 30 days is not a long time, but it gets into the time frame of it definitely got commit to it. It's not like a week or 2 weeks where you can just kind of get through it and like kind of you like ride on the coattails of your motivation. I think it'll definitely take some discipline, and I'm looking forward to seeing what comes of it because I'm excited. So that just popped up in my mind, and I'm gonna do it.
Cool. Sounds good. Sounds like a plan.
Yep. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's especially good because, like, if you look at it in terms of like, that's 2 hours. Say 2 hours you save on Saturday, 2 hours you save on Sunday. It's 4 hours a week, right? That's another 200 hours a year, right? 200 hours a year. I mean, that's saving like a couple weeks if you think about it that way, right? 40 hours a week. If you use those 2 hours for productive time, you're saving yourself a couple weeks of work, right? So it's like, it's like, could be super beneficial, obviously, if you do it over a long time horizon, as any good habit is. But that's kind of how I look at it, is like you're going to be ahead of everyone else that's going to sleep in, and I think you should get confidence in that.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. I think whether the only thing to come out of it is just to be able to say that I did it, or I'm thinking that I'm either going to use that time at 6 a.m. to go work out or read the Bible, or both. And I definitely need to read the Bible more, and I work out enough. But switching that to now working out in the mornings instead of the evenings, or both the morning and the evening, it'll be good. So I'm just going to commit to that and see what happens.
Cool. Sounds good. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's been on your mind?
What's been on my mind is how sore I was this morning, hobbling around. My foot feels like it has a stress fracture in it, but that is totally fine and something I was self-inducing. But on, what was it, last week, like Tuesday, I got an email about the Encinitas half marathon, and it was like $100. So signed up for it, and it was the Sunday morning. On Wednesday of last week, I found out there was a wedding that I was invited to on Saturday night. So did the wedding Saturday night, and it was a super cool spot in downtown San Diego, open bar. Had about 10 drinks or so. Enough to where I was feeling it. It was great time on the dance floor, absolutely electric. And Sunday morning came around, woke up at 6:30, got in the car at 6:45 with a cup of coffee, and got to Encinitas at 7:15 to get ready for the race that started at 7:30. And it went well. My body felt good, and like for the first half of it, I averaged like about a 9-minute pace. For like the whole thing, the whole 13.1 miles took me 2 hours and 15 minutes. My heart rate was above 180 beats per minute for 35 minutes. So as to say, my body is struggling right now, just kind of fighting off that alcohol still, and trying to recover back on pace for this half marathon. But I really like it, and I like the challenge of it. And one of the reasons why I did it was what David Goggins had an Instagram post about a month ago that kind of brought me in the right mindset. But initial reactions. What's your bid?
My initial reactions are that you were still drunk for most of the race.
Probably.
I mean, probably. It was probably pretty dumb to do that, all things considered.
Probably
on your body, both the running and the drinking. That's not good things to do, and in conjunction, probably not the best either. But it was, again, one of those things where you committed to the marathon, you valued your relationship with this person, and you were able to take advantage of both. Now, were you able to maximize both of those opportunities? I don't know. Do you think you were? Do you think you had the most fun at the wedding, and do you think you got the most out of the half marathon?
Yes, I definitely maximized the fun I had at the wedding.
Okay, so it's not like you left early or anything, and
no.
Said okay.
No, and then we were at the wedding from like 3:30 to like 11.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, definitely maximize that for sure.
Okay, so you maximize one, but your running took a hit and your body's taking a hit today. So
my goal wasn't like, yes, my goal is to see as fast as I could run the half marathon. Like, obviously I wanted to compete there. I'm a very competitive person, but I think the goal was to challenge myself, not necessarily to get the best time. So I think part of the challenge or part of the experience was making it so hard on myself because I was hungover, and like that just made the challenge even higher. So I don't think it took away from the experience, because it was just like, it was still a hard challenge, and I was still able to overcome it.
But you also you purposely made it harder on yourself.
Yeah.
When you could have made it harder on yourself by running quicker.
Correct. I guess that is one way of doing it. Yes. But also in the back of my mind, I was just like, what would most people do? And I was like, most people wouldn't do the half marathon, or like most people wouldn't go through with it. And I get a lot of confidence in my life from doing things that I know most people wouldn't be willing to do. So that was something that I liked in terms of like looking at it from the challenge point of view. Is like, that was kind of my mindset when I was running. I was like, nobody else would be out here. like nobody else would be running this hard. Like nobody else would be trying to like get a PR on their half marathon the day after a big wedding. And I got a lot of confidence from that.
Yeah. But you also were compromising your running experience.
Oh yeah, it was definitely compromised.
So they both, I guess, in this universe, we can challenge ourselves to the max, but also willingly accept that it's not going to be our best. So
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I guess there's two different ways to look at it, but overall, all in all, I thought it was a good experience. I still have a goal of doing an Ironman at age 25. So for me, that would be like 2.5 years out. And that's still a goal of mine. I want to do a half marathon. I want to do a half Ironman in like a year and a half. So eventually working up to that point where I can tackle the big goal. Hopefully not hungover would be the caveat to that.
Yes, I hope so. Maybe
fully hydrated.
Maybe you do a few races sober and fully trained instead of not hungover. But
yeah, I thought about what you said because when you did the 10K on Thanksgiving, you were mentioning how you just like show up and start running and you don't stretch. And I was thinking about that. I was like, oh, Matt just shows up and he starts running. And like I saw people like stretching and like doing like a warm-up jog. And I'm like, nope, show and go. Like lace them and start. So
stretching. Like for me, when I run, like what am I gonna do to warm up running? Run more? Like that just, it doesn't make sense to me. Like I need to warm up to run by running. Like
yeah,
I'm just gonna do it.
I was definitely thinking of like what you would be doing. And it's just like show and go, like lace them up, hit the streets, done. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Don't overcomplicate it.
Yeah. It's just running.
Yeah, it's just running. So, all right. Alrighty. Topic number 3 for the day.
So at the end of last year, I was going at the end of last year and fall and summer of 2022 as well. I was going through a daily devotional called Streams in the Desert. And a lot of the devotion surrounds like when you're going through tough times, just lean on God, trust in him. And that devotion set was great for that time of life. I was I was post-surgery. I recently finished baseball. Not quite how I wanted it to. I was looking for a job, but I didn't have one. And like a lot of my friends were either still playing baseball or had jobs. So I was in this like in between period where I found myself relying on God a lot. And then got the job in October and moved to New York City. Like met back up with a lot of my friends from school, had friends from high school here too. And for about like 2 or 3 months or 4 months, it was just like, everything's great. Like, this is awesome. I have my new life, my new job. Like, and I told myself, I was like, I need a devotion like more relevant to my life because I'm good. Like, I don't really I don't really relate to Israelite walking through the desert where they have like no water, no food, and just relying. Like I'm doing really well. And then like life as it always does, it sets in. Like the allure runs off and like they're like work, like I enjoy my job and love it, but it's not it doesn't mean that there's it's problem free, and I have lots of friends, and I live in a great city, but there's still challenges that are daily, and I find myself as like, well, hey, I can go back to reading streams in the desert. Like, hey, I have this, like, I have a great life, but like, it's not all perfect. And I was just kind of mad at myself for thinking that I didn't need this devotion for this 3 months, because I was like, hey, I got it all figured out. I'm going to find I want the devotion for people that are doing really well and they're just killing it everywhere. Like, where's that devotion? I need that devotion.
Streams in the rainforest.
Yes. I want streams in the rainforest on a jungle cruise with lots of sightseeing and a pina colada in my hand. Where's the devotion for that? And as I was realizing that, like, there's this, my thinking was just so limited of how I was just like, oh, I'm good now. I don't need the devotion. I can, like, relax from spending daily time with the Lord. And I was just like, I was so mad that I was like, why did I let these worldly factors affect my relationship with him? And it was just kind of like eye-opening in that moment to be like, no, like, I'm always going to need him, and I'm always going to need God in my life, and I always want to be able to rely on my relationship with Jesus. And even when things are going well, I should be pouring into him even more and being grateful. But for that brief time period, I thought, I was like, oh, I don't, this devotion doesn't apply to me anymore. Like, I've moved on. But like, that's not how life is. Like, that's just a figment of, that's just a utopia that doesn't exist, where everything's doing well and we don't need a God. Because if everything was great and our lives were perfect and all that, like, why do we need a God? But in the reality, like, we're sinful, we age, we, like, have pride. Obviously, I have way too much pride, and it wasn't good. So I'm wondering what your initial reactions are to that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, I think that's good. I've also read Streams in the Desert as well, and I think it's very powerful devotion. And yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't want to have to look at my life as a desert, and like, I don't want to have to lower myself to be like, man, like, my life is so bad that I'm in a desert right now. And that, kind of like you said, like, to admit that you need the stream, like this, to admit that you need Jesus, because if not, you would just be stranded in a desert. And me being like a prideful person myself, and also like someone that's very optimistic, it's hard to kind of realize that you do need that stream coming from the grace of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. And it is hard because it's like, because we do both live great lives, but the second we kind of take our focus off of God, then he's going to remind us why we need him even more. So it is that constant battle for sure. And
yeah,
I'm glad that you're going back to it. I think that's awesome.
yeah. I think too that our lives on earth might be going well, but we still need God, like, because God is outside of our circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Like, his relationship is constant with us. We just need to pour into him, and it's not going to be. I've just learned that it can't be dependent on how well things are going or how poorly things are going, because, like, what Jesus did on the cross wasn't because of how well things were going or how poorly things were going. Like, his love is constant, and Jesus made the ultimate sacrifice for us, and it wasn't for when we were in good times or in bad times. It was for all the time. When we were sinners, but it was for all of us all the time. So just I'm reminded of that every day, and I want to keep that on the front of my mind as it is easy for us, just being young and healthy. We have a lot of things to be grateful for, but a lot of things that can distract us from the main thing. So
yeah, I was talking with Dad yesterday, and this prior week, today's Monday, and so this last week, I didn't do like my morning devotional time. I didn't do like my morning routine where I like pray and I read the Bible, I look at my goals, that kind of thing. And I took it off for the week so I could Uber in the morning. So I'd wake up and I'd Uber for 2 hours, Uber drive for 2 hours before I started work. And I had like a deadline I had to hit, which I got that for Uber, which was good. And I was telling my dad how I kind of took that off in order to be able to make money. And our dad was reminding me how if we make time for God, then he will allow everything else to kind of fall into place. And like unexpected things will start to come together for you if we make time for God. And he said, like, you shouldn't go and make money, or you shouldn't trade your relationship with God to go make money. And that was something I needed a reminder of, just because like it does take time, and it like takes effort. And I just figured, oh, that's going to be an hour out of my day. I need to go Uber during that time because of this deadline. But you can't like measure the results of God in your life. And that's something I needed a reminder of literally like yesterday, and something I'm now wanting to be more intentional as well, because it's like, even if you have this goal, right, God's going to make it easier for you to hit that goal, I think. And again, I don't know, but I think God's going to make things are going to start coming together for you when you go out of your way to look for him.
Yeah, but also like when you lean on him, he's going to align your life with his will. Like if that's been a prayer of mine, just constantly be open to what God has for me. And if I set out a goal for myself and it's not what God has planned or God has in store, or it's not truthful to what he set out, then I also pray that like it would be a closed door versus an open door. So I think that we should just be keen on hearing what God has to say in our lives on a day-to-day basis, because what you might have as a goal initially your goal might change, and that's not a bad thing. You're still gonna, like, we got to keep the main thing here. So it's not about accomplishing these material goals. It's our eternity with Jesus Christ, and like spending these days on earth like he did. And like like you said, it might line up, it might not, but I think if we just keep the main thing, then we don't really need to worry about the other stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And I know it's like something I need a reminder of is like, we've gone through 100% of our hardest days. Like we've gone through 100% of the hardest days we've ever had, because we've gotten here. So sometimes for me, if like work isn't going well and like I'm tired all the time and I'm like trying my best, but I'm not seeing the results that I want, and I just don't think it's like going my way, or it's like woe's me, but like I have to remember that I will get through this period because I've been able to get through every other hard time in my life as well. So it's kind of like having confidence from the results in the past.
Yeah. yeah, that having confidence is it's huge. I think the uh, one thing that as you were saying that, it reminded me that on this podcast a lot I've been talking about the test I had, and which I ended up passing, and it was a ton of studying morning, before work and after work, and the ability to be diligent with that built confidence for me, and I was able to rely on past things that have built confidence, and in the moment I was building confidence because I was committing to studying for this test, and then when I got to the test it was cake. And that I wouldn't have had that confidence if I didn't put in the work, to where going into the test, I there's definitely some doubt in my mind and I was a little nervous, but I knew I had done everything I could. I couldn't have studied anymore for it. And if I didn't pass, I didn't pass. But the fact that I knew I had done everything I could just let the pressure off.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I don't pass, I don't pass. But it's not like I could have said to myself, oh, I should have studied this more, should have studied that. I was like, no, like I've done everything I can. I read the book, did the flashcards, the practice tests, did practice tests over and over and over again. So there's no doubt in my mind that I had done all that I could. So it just let me to freely perform and just answer the questions to the best of my ability, knowing that if I fail, I fail, but if I pass, I pass. But
Yeah.
I
like that a lot.
Yeah, and if I didn't fail, if I didn't pass, I could have just taken the test a month from now, and the biggest obstacle I would have overcome from failing is just telling my work that I failed, and then just telling all my friends that I knew that they knew I took this test. So like there's a social implication of that, but I knew I had done everything I could, and I was happy with that going into the test, that I controlled what I could control.
Mm-hmm.
And exactly what you're saying. I just had a lot of confidence. And if I had failed, I would have been like, hey, like, oh well, I legitimately could not have done anything more. So
yeah, good. I needed to hear that. I like that. I think that's something I got to focus on a little bit more. And just kind of being at peace with that too is when you know you leave it all on the table, you don't have to worry about the result as much.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the great things about having Jesus Christ in our life. Like he did everything for us.
Yeah.
Like we didn't do anything to earn this life or earn eternity. Like he laid down his life on the cross. So we should have all the freedom to perform and all the freedom to glorify him, because he did it for us. So we should be stress free.
Yeah, I agree.
And it doesn't matter what happens, because like we have a relationship with him, and we're going to try and honor that. So
cool.
a lot of parallels.
Yeah.
But
I mean, as there is in life, a lot of parallels.
Yeah. And now that I'm done with the test, I can just I can relax a little bit, but I knew I did everything I could, and it worked out. And sometimes it's like that, sometimes it's not.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah. Well, any updates in terms of your investing? Quick thing I wanted to say, I saw a tweet today and it said everybody's an investor because everybody has resources either in time or in money, and it just depends what you're investing in. And I thought about this on the podcast is like everyone's an investor because everyone has resources. Everyone, if you're alive, you have time, and time is a resource. So anyway, that was a quick digress. But yeah, any updates in terms of your strategy?
Yeah, I like I said, like I said last week, a lot of those things that I usually value took a back seat, like fitness. So I'm gonna get back to my usual routine of that. I ran 7 miles this morning. I'm gonna lift tomorrow morning. I'm going to Chicago tomorrow.
Oh,
so
sick.
yeah. So I'm going to Chicago for work. So I'm gonna meet with a bunch of people that I've only met through on email and on online meetings. So I'm excited for that. So back to investing time in my physical body and gonna relax this week mentally and enjoy the time in Chicago and enjoy friends. So and well, and in how I'm investing my money, I think this might be a great time to get into the stock market or to continue to pile more money into the stock market with all this uncertainty going on. Like Bitcoin got to its 52-week high this weekend and nobody even noticed it because there was just so much going on with the banks and stuff. But Bitcoin has kind of like brought itself back to life through all the uncertainty. So while people are scared, I think that's a time to get back to like pile on even more. So that's how I'm investing my money, is just continue to and along with building up that rainy day fund, because a lot of people are saying like with recession you should have that, but when there's fear in the market, that's when you should be taking advantage of that. So hitting it hard and seeing opportunities where others see fear. So
cool.
That's my plan. What about you?
Yeah. I think everything for the most part staying the same, but I got a good plan. I'm going to be able to get back to my morning routine a little bit and sacrifice my financial a little bit of my financial resources in terms of Ubering and be able to reallocate that towards praying and meditating and working out a little bit more consistently. But yeah, everything's going well, and I just gotta run the play longer than I have. And I know, again, if I leave it on the table and I keep doing what I'm doing, I know it's going to be unreasonable for me not to be successful, and that's a good place.
Good to hear.
Yeah, that's what we got for today. Finishing up episode 9 of the Erickson Brothers Podcast.
Wild.
Yeah.
Wild.
There we go.
I wasn't told if anybody hated our TikTok this week. I didn't check it at all. I guess I don't need to know. But hey,
who knows?
We're still here.
Yeah. You know where to find us.
Yeah, or you don't. Yes. I don't know.
All right. Sweet, brother. I'll talk to you later.
All right. See ya.
Do hard things.